All right, guys. Hey, it's great to be back out there on the field. Um, it was really good for a lot of reasons. Our team has worked extremely hard. Since June the 8th, preparing for this opportunity. It was good to see them get out there and compete a little bit. It's been a very unusual summer, obviously, and I have to give a lot of credit to our medical staff here, who have put a fantastic plan together to give us an opportunity to do this. This is the first practice, during this pandemic. So, there's lots of things that we can learn from it moving forward. So we're going to continue to do that. The situation obviously changes daily, and we've got to do a great job as a staff, following the protocols that Dr. Klink and Geronimo have put together. But when it comes to football, it was exciting to see some of these guys run around out there. Lots of things that we can improve on. Just a couple of updates from a roster standpoint. Balin Buchanan is going to sit out this season based off of a medical issue that he's continued to work on. He showed a lot of improvement there, and he's going to continue to work hard to get better there. But he's not going to play this season. That's really the updates with the roster. Jeremy Banks practiced with us today. Jeremy has done a fantastic job over the last 9 months. He's really been an inspiration to me. For 10 minutes or 20 minutes last year, the 20 minutes Jeremy would love to have back. When we removed him from the football team, and he didn't want to leave. He told me, he said, "Coach," he goes, "I came to Tennessee to get a degree. I've embarrassed myself, my family, and the only way that I can get that back is staying here, and that's something that I would like to do." And we put a plan in place, and he's followed everything that we've asked him to do. I'm proud of him where he's at, making A's and B's, and really getting involved in the community. So we're excited that he's back and looking forward to him getting a second chance. With that, I'll take any questions.
All right, please keep your lines muted here, and we'll call on you. Please hit the raise your hand function, and we'll start with Austin Price.
Coach, if you got any kind of update on Cade Mays, and if not, then is that frustrating knowing that here you are into fall camp and still haven't heard anything?
So we do have an update with Cade. We obviously applied for a waiver for initial eligibility here, and it was denied. We're in the process of appealing that. For me, it is frustrating, and it's frustrating to me for Cade. Just looking at it, for his sake, a guy that, to me, I think he was a really good player at Georgia, and I don't know how he did there, but I know playing against him, I thought he was one of the better players in the league. I thought he played the right way. The circumstances surrounding him and his family, something that he had no control over. And when you look at a young man, once he transfers, going through the process of how is he going to be eligible, there's a lot that goes into that. He's sitting there with this case looming. Does that affect where he's at on the depth chart? Does that affect anything that goes on around him? It's an unusual circumstance, and you guys know me. I'm a transfer myself. And I think back to when I transferred, there was a period of about 10 weeks that I didn't know whether or not I was going to be eligible. And I thought about those 10 weeks when we got this denial, and there's a lot of uncertainty there. And I hate it for him. I hate it for every young man and women out there that want to transfer. I'm in favor of the one-time transfer. I think just my question is why should we stand in the way of a young man or woman trying to figure out where the right place for them is? And right now, that's not the rule. I hope that it eventually that will be the rule. I know everybody that has transferred from our place, I have written a letter for a recommendation of them to the NCAA that requested that they be approved immediate eligibility. So, I know it's frustrating for Cade and it's frustrating for our team.
Our next question will be from Blake Topmeyer.
Hey, Jeremy, since your guys got back to campus in June, do you have any sort of figure on how many guys you've had test positive for COVID-19? And can you offer any indication for what your roster looks like right now from that standpoint?
We've had a total of 23 guys on our team test positive. The first time we tested, we had 0. And over the period of time that we've been back, we've had 23 total. There was lots of lessons for us to learn in there. We gave our guys an 8-day break around the 4th of July. So they had a chance to go home. That was the point in time when we thought the season was going to start on time. So we wanted to give them a chance to be able to spend time with their family. And we had some guys that come back and tested positive, but I believe our positivity rate is slightly under 2%. So Dr. Klink and our guys have really done a nice job of kind of exercising the protocol that we have in place here, and we've learned a lot of lessons from our team that. There's not been any contact tracing that's been within our building. It's all come from outside our building. So we've got to do a better job when we're out and about in public. And I think it's something that we learned right after the 4th of July.
Our next question will be from David Ubben.
Jeremy, did you guys have anybody miss practice today for being quarantined or still being unable to rejoin the team after testing positive?
Can you repeat the question?
Yeah. Did you guys have anybody miss practice today? Because of quarantine, either they've tested positive or you're waiting out to see if they're okay.
No, we did. We had a few guys that are in quarantine right now that will be back here in a couple of days.
Our next question will be from Troy Wallace.
Coach, today the quarterback's getting out there trying to get into a rhythm. Can you talk about Jared Garantano, what he's going to have to do this fall to lead this football program, especially starting the season so much later than what you anticipated? How's that been, and how's he been with the other group of quarterbacks?
Well, I thought all of our quarterbacks threw the ball well today. So, there was several periods in there that we completed a whole lot of balls, which was good to see. It's good to see guys, creating some yards after the catch there. We've got to be more consistent at that position, obviously, and that's whoever's playing quarterback. But, hey, that's our entire team. If you want to be successful in this league, you have to create consistency on both sides of the ball, and that's something that we really got to work hard to do during this camp.
Our next question will be from Brent Hubbs, and then we'll go to Gentry Estes after that.
Coach, can you describe kind of how today felt? Did it feel somewhat normal? How do you handling your team in this camp with the continued, kind of uncertainties, everything they're seeing out there with other schools and around other campuses? And then secondly, has anybody approached you about opting out for this season? Anybody on your roster?
We've been very transparent with our team. We've met as a team. We've met with a leadership group. We've had our medical our medical task force team in here that have met with our players and parents. So the one thing that we wanted to be was transparent, and so our guys understood exactly what the risks were going into this summer, starting camp. One thing when getting out there on the practice field, to me, it looked like the first day of practice that you would see, or that I've seen over the last 20 years. See a lot of guys that are excited, guys flying around, a lot of guys making mistakes, but doing it full speed. So, I saw a lot of guys that were excited about being out on the field. Now, to speak for them about how they feel is something that y'all get an opportunity to do, because it's not about how I feel to me as much as it's about them. And that's something that we've tried to make sure that our young men understand. We've told everybody that we will fully support them. If they want to play, we'll fully support them. If they don't want to play, and that's something that we're going to do here and provide all the information to help them make a decision.
Gentry?
Yeah, Jeremy, so much of this is obviously going to have to do with decisions guys make away from the facility. How realistic do you think it is that everybody's going to always make the right ones? And how, from your end, how can you go about enforcing that while also letting, kids be college students?
Well, it's going to be hard for me to enforce it. I don't live with them 24 hours a day. I do believe from an educational standpoint, Dr. Klink and Geronimo have done an outstanding job educating them and how the disease is transmitted. So our kids do understand, and it comes down to decision making, So I can tell you this, this summer, I wanted to go see my mom and dad, right? And I got family members that aren't social distancing, that are playing sports, and where our family is trying to do that to help protect the players around us. So just decisions we got to make, and I asked my family to wear a mask at times. So it's I guess it changes with each individual person.
We'll go to Gustavo next.
Hi, Pruitt. First of all, I'm glad to talk to you. South Carolina was the team that last year you guys beat it by 41-21. It was kind of the turnaround of the season. You guys got the winning streak. How you guys think about, facing South Carolina again on the road as the opening game?
Well, it's a long time till we play South Carolina. We got lots of things that we need to fix here at Tennessee, and we've got 24 more practices to help develop our team, and we've got to work hard to do that. So we'll start focusing on South Carolina as we get closer to that time. But to speak on them, Coach Muschamp, to me, has always done a fantastic job. He's one of the best defensive coaches in college football. He's hired Mike Bobo to be his offensive coordinator, who's a good friend of mine, who I think is one of the best guys across the country. And I know that they have a talented roster, but right now we need to focus on us.
We'll go to Dave Foster, Fox 17.
Hey, Coach. Yeah, I was going to ask a schedule question as well here with it being released a little bit later tonight. What are your general thoughts on what is going to be a schedule that nobody's really seen in decades and decades and decades as far as going through and playing all conference, and as tough as that looks like it's going to be?
I don't understand your question. What's your question?
My question in general about the schedule, because it is going to be released here in, I guess, about 30 minutes or so, is just the difficulty of going through an all-conference schedule in a season.
I got you. For playing 10 SEC games. You know, the unique thing about our league is anybody can beat anybody any week. You know, it will be a tough 10 games. You have to be prepared every week. You have to be at your best every week. You know, you have to sustain and stay healthy. You know, so obviously this will be the first time any of us have experienced it. So it'll be a great challenge and something that we're looking forward to.
We'll go to Rick Russo, WVLT.
Hey, Jeremy. Did the OTAs help the guys, especially the newcomers, get up to speed for today and the start of practice?
I would say absolutely. You know, we really took advantage of the walkthroughs. You know, there's a lot of teaching that goes on, so we had a chance to kind of go through our teaching progression. You know, we kind of go a 5-day install, and then we start back over. So it's been really good. You know, we changed the way we practiced a little bit today just because we've had so many walkthroughs, but it was something that we took advantage of for sure.
Our next question will come from Patrick Brown.
Hey, Jeremy, just to clarify on Balaam Buchanan, is this a career-ending situation, or is he going to try to, I guess, come back for a 6th year since this was going to be his 5th year?
No. First of all, I'm not the doctor, but it's something that he's working hard to rehab with, and he'll continue to do that.
Our next question will come from Matthew Ray, Sports Illustrated.
Hey, Jeremy, looking at the new protocols that are put in place with the COVID-19, you lost some senior leadership last year. Who have been the biggest leaders, regardless of class, in trying to adhere to these protocols so that they can have a season this fall?
Well, I think there's no doubt that everybody that's associated with football absolutely wants to play. I do believe that everybody also is very cognitive of, you know, there is a risk, you know. So, you know, it's something that we've all tried to work together, you know, and we'll continue to do that. And I'm sure over the course of the season, I'm sure the CDC guidelines will probably change. They've changed in the last 6 to 8 weeks a little bit, and we've made sure that we followed them. So we'll continue to do that, but it's something we got to work hard together. So I couldn't just point out one person. I think it's something we're all trying to do.
Our next question will come from Dan Harrelson.
Hey, Coach. Back to Jeremy Banks. I know it's kind of early on since he's just getting back out there on the practice field, but do you think he can provide some versatility throughout the defense, maybe at Mac and Will and maybe the money spot?
Well, he's, you know, we're working him at money. It's a position that he moved to last year. And, you know, he's got a lot of catching up to do. But I'm just excited that he's put himself in position to have an opportunity to do this. I'm excited for the opportunity for him to further his education. You know, so, and I believe that Jeremy will work really hard to be the best football player that he possibly can be.
Our next question will be for Mike Wilson.
Yeah, Coach, also on Jeremy Banks, you said you had a plan in place for him. What was kind of that plan for him to work his way back to being on the roster?
Well, you know, I don't want to go into specifics on exactly what the plan was, but I can tell you this: Jeremy has worked tirelessly to put himself in position to be back on our football team. And there's been a lot of people in the surrounding area from Knoxville that have contributed in it. And, Jeremy is learned a valuable lesson, and he gets an opportunity to play football again and continue his degree.
Our next question will come from Brent Hubbs.
Yeah, Coach, can you just talk a little bit about what you saw out of your freshmen, your incoming guys? I know you had them in walkthroughs, and they've had some, the conditioning work, but just we haven't had a chance to ask you your thoughts on after working hands-on with them. What do you think of those guys to get things started, knowing they have a long ways to go?
Well, I think there's lots of talent amongst the group. The guys really love football. They've worked hard preparing to give themselves a chance to compete for playing time this year. And we need a lot of these guys to be playmakers for us on both sides of the ball. So, it's the first day of practice. We've kind of had some walkthroughs, but today was really the first day to kind of judge them out there. And it's hard to do that on the first day. But there's lots of guys that have lots of ability that will be good football players here.
Our next question will come from Wes Rucker. Hey, Wes.
Get off.
The
How about
mute.
now? How about
Perfect.
now? Hey, there we go.
I can't hear you, Wes.
We're good. All right, let's go. We'll try Wes again here, but let's go to David Ubben.
Jeremy, kind of a two-part question. One, what is your testing schedule going to look like through camp? And two, from a football perspective, how will this camp, a little bit, the schedule's a little bit different. How will that differ from, what you guys would traditionally do in a more normal year?
Well, from a football practice standpoint, we get 25 practices, which that's exactly what we normally get in any fall camp. The difference is it's spread out more days, which I think is really good. Gives a chance for you to practice a day and take a day off and kind of get these guys back into football shape a little bit. So that's that answer there. Our testing protocol, we're testing once a week, and as the season gets here, we'll test twice. But if anybody has any symptoms, they get tested, and really probably Dr. Klink would be the best guy to talk to about that. But I feel really confident, and our medical team and what they're doing to provide safety measures for not only the players, but the staff and everybody associated with the program.
Our next question will come from Chris Harris, WSMV Nashville.
Hey, Coach. Good to see you. I was just wondering about today, how you view today specifically. Not only you get to start practice again, but also the SEC schedule being released. Is it almost like today provides a tangible sense of hope going forward for everyone?
Well, one thing that we've been focusing on is what we can control, so, we've been preparing all along like there's going to be a season. And today was the first practice, and our guys were prepared to go for that first practice. So, and I thought we had a really good practice. So that's all we can do. We don't make these decisions. We try to provide all the protection that we can for our players. And I'll tell you, one of the things that has concerned me the most during this entire pandemic has just been mental health. When these guys were stuck at home, what we consider a normal schedule while they're in school, it's not normal at home. We all know we've been stuck at home, right? So when you have to look after your own kids, okay, or maybe in their standpoint, they have to look after their little brothers or little sisters or maybe their cousins, while they're supposed to be taking classes. So one thing that we learned really early on was we needed to have we needed to be able to kind of be fluid with our scheduling to accommodate things that changed every day for them at home. So this has been a big undertaking that we're all working really hard to find out the answers, and we're going to continue to do that.
All right, we'll take a few more. Let's go to Blake Topmeyer. Blake, you there?
Sorry, Bill.
No problem.
Jeremy, I know when you signed Jimmy Holiday, he's a versatile guy that can play multiple spots. Where you got him working out preseason?
Jimmy is he's going to play wide receiver this fall. It's something that he wanted to do. He felt like that, he would have an opportunity to get on the field faster there. And he's a guy that you obviously could jump in there at quarterback, and he's still taking some snaps there, but he's going to take most of his snaps at the wide receiver position this fall.
We'll go to Trey Wallace, followed by Austin Price.
Jerry, can you talk about the new coaches on staff, how they handled everything this summer with COVID, and also getting back on the field today? You got a couple coaches that switch different positions as well. Just kind of maybe talk about them for a little bit and how they've transitioned.
Well, I feel like our staff is really done an outstanding job handling this whole pandemic. The number one priority for us has been our relationships with our players. These guys went home in the middle of March, and they didn't get back till June the 8th. Not all of them got back on June the 8th. Some of them, it was July. Going from seeing these guys every single day and to not being able to see them has been tough. So luckily with Zoom and FaceTime, we've tried to have as many face-to-face meetings with our players as we possibly could to be there for them. Like I said, things change every single day, and it has since March. I think our guys have really responded in a positive way. Our players, our coaches. I'm excited about the men that are on our staff. I believe in them. I know where their heart's at, and I'm excited about the relationships that they continue to build with our players, and they all have ability to be really good coaches.
Austin,
Coach, talk to me about Quavaris Crouch. Obviously, he wasn't going to get to go through spring because of the offseason surgery, but how big were the OTAs for him? Will he still get some work at tailback? And then what have you seen out of Bayless Jones in short order since he's been here?
Well, you're talking about 3 practices. Bayless is a guy that I knew in high school. He was from Mobile, a guy that we recruited some, and he's a fast guy, really good kick returner. Has great speed. Has a feel to play the position, has a lot of experience. So as a guy that when he wanted to transfer and graduated, reached out to us, and with his connection with T, it was a really good fit for us. Q, I don't know how many touches he'll get on the goal line. He's moved to inside linebacker, which is probably his most natural position. He has ability to rush on third down. So it's one of those deals. Last year he played inside and outside, but predominantly outside. But we like to recruit guys that can play all 4 positions, and he's a guy that fits that mode. So we'll see about the goal line as we get closer to the season.
We'll take 2 more questions. One from David Ubben, and Rob, did you have your hand up? Well, let's start with David.
Yeah. 1 second.
David, you there?
Yes. Sorry. Just a second. Hang on, I lost my note. Yeah, Jeremy, when you sorry, hang on 1 sec.
This must be a good question here, David.
It was circle. Can you circle back though? I lost my notes.
All right, no problem. Rob, did you have a question? And then we'll go back to you, David.
Yeah, Coach, going back to the OTAs and the freshmen, because of the OTAs and because you've got like 6 or 7 weeks, basically a fall camp, do you think it's ironically going to be easier for a freshman to get ready to play this year just because of the setup?
Well, the OTAs was not 6 or 7 weeks of fall camp. It was not that way. We had a little bit we pushed back a little bit after the 4th of July. And, so we could do walkthroughs. And I think the walkthrough part, the teaching part was really, really good for these guys. But, we're not allowed to go out there and practice them, so but the walkthroughs I thought were really good. It gave them an opportunity to slow down. And I feel like we have really good teachers in our building. So there's no doubt that it should create an advantage for these guys. So yeah, it was really good. It was good for everybody. It's good for the coaches too.
Last question back to David.
Yeah, Jeremy, do you have a feel for what percentage of you guys' classes are online this semester, and how would you feel about football going on in the event that Tennessee or other schools end up going fully online at some point this semester?
The number of guys that are online, David, is that the question?
Yeah, basically, if you have a feel for kind of what percentage of guys' classes are online only.
Our format here this fall is hybrid. So some of the classes are online, some of the classes are in person, and some of them are both. So I don't know exactly the number that we have that are online or hybrid or in person. But what I do know is that Chancellor Plowman is taking every step that she can to provide the safety for not only our student athletes, but for the student body. And again, it's something that we've all got to work hard together to do.
And then how would you feel about playing football if they did go fully online at some point this semester?
How would I feel about it? My whole thing the whole time is can we protect our players? It's the most important thing. So I don't know the angle here, not from you, David, but I can tell you, as a coach, the number one concern for us is the safety of everybody in this building. Do we want to play? Absolutely. We want to play. The kids want to play. Okay. But the number one thing for us is to make sure that we can protect the people around us. And that will never change. That will never, ever change. It's how we practice. It's the first thing we think of in any decision that's made with anybody in our program. What's the safety? And that's during this pandemic, and that was before this pandemic. So that's not ever going to change here.
Thanks.
All right. Thank you, Coach. That's it.
All right. It's good to see all y'all. I hope you and your family are safe.